Good morning, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So I get a lot of people who ask me to do videos on particular topics, and I think to myself, I talked about that like a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, and I feel kind of redundant when I kind of go over the same information again. But a lot of this stuff really does need to be brought up again, especially when you see things taking place that are obvious signs of things to come. It's like today I was reading this article coming out of Bitcoin.com of all places, but it was talking about this report coming from Germany on how better than 300 banks over there are charging their depositors a negative interest rate. Can you believe that? Now, and I guess there's been an additional 30 banks just since October who have started doing this. And now they don't call it a negative interest rate, they call it a custodial fee. Yeah, I like this. There's a fee for holding on to your money. Now, I like looking at Germany because you can kind of compare it to the United States a lot. Because Germany, of all European nations over there, they love their cash. They love their cash. They still use cash in a lot of their transactions. Of course, since COVID taken place, I don't know how prevalent cash is over there in their system, but up until then, even I was reading articles up until 2017 and 19, they were still using cash quite a bit in their day-to-day transactions, especially on their smaller purchases. So for Germany to have a negative interest rate on their bank account just seems very peculiar, to say the least. Now, granted, it is bank accounts that are $100,000 or more, and I would assume that most people, before they would be charged a negative interest rate on their account, would just take their accounts down to just under $100,000 and invest the rest, or put it in another bank account or do something with it, but not hold $100,000 or more in their bank account. And that's exactly what the bank is looking for. They keep wanting you to keep your money out there in the system, or at least that's what the banking system is trying to do with these negative interest rates, is to push that money out there and to keep it out there in the commerce and not to be hoarding onto it or saving it. But like I said, this is Germany of all places is one of those things that you want to keep an eye on, because they are super sensitive to this. I mean, their history is full of bank runs and failures and hyperinflation. So it's not they don't know about bank failures. And holding on to cash is a way to basically stay away from the banking system as far as a bank failure goes. If a bank fails and you can't get your money out, but if you have your money under the mattress, then you don't have to worry about the bank failing. I mean, you do have to worry about the currency failing, but not the bank itself. And with 300 of these banks charging a negative interest rate on their customers, I could only assume that the customers were probably not going to be standing for very much longer and start pulling that cash out or moving it into investments and stuff like that. Now, when I think about negative interest rates and how they plan on implementing them, is very much like what Germany is starting with. They're going to be on the high-end accounts, and this isn't the first country to do it. I mean, other countries have done it as well, but it's always on the high-end accounts. So basically, it's telling the rich people, it's get your money out of my bank, go invest it, go put it someplace else, but stop depositing so much money with us. I mean, it's weird to think that that's what the banking system is doing right now, but that is literally what they are up to. And we can discuss that in another video. But what I feel is going to happen with these negative interest rates is that they're going to have to move into a digital component of it. Because I feel that people, once it gets down to the depositors levels, the working class person, they go to put their checking account, or go put their paycheck in their checking account, and it immediately starts losing value because of their negative interest rate on it, they are not going to be depositing their money into a bank. They're going to take it all out in cash. And if they take it out in cash, then you're going to have a problem with negative interest rates and being able to implement that into the system. So they're going to go digital. And once they create this digital component, now they can charge the negative interest rates, because you will have no other choice. Your money will be in the system no matter what. You can't get it out. You can't take it out in cash. And so people will think, okay, we're just going to pull our cash out before this whole digital thing starts taking place, and we'll just sit on cash always and just have a big hoard of cash in it. And they've thought about this because the IMF has talked about this in many articles, and I'll go find the link to the IMF article talking about how to implement a negative interest rates using a digital component. But they're going to know that this cash is in the system, and in order to deal with that cash that's already in the system, what they're going to do is they're going to have two currency values. When you take your money and you pull it out of the bank, you're going to be charged a fee. And when you deposit it in the bank, you're going to be charged a fee. And that fee is going to create the e-currency to have an equivalent value with the negative interest rate as your deposit rate on your dollars. You sure? Did I explain that right? So like they're gonna charge you to deposit your money into the bank, which devalues the face value of it, right? If they charge you 20 cents to put the dollar in there, then it's only worth 80 cents. And if you have digital currency, it's going to have a negative interest rate attached to it if it's left at the bank. It's weird to wrap your head around how all this stuff works, but keep your eye on Germany. Germany is going to be the closest example to what I believe the United States people will behave like. Like out of some people are just like, cash, fine, get rid of it. I don't use cash anyway. But Germans love their cash. And so do the United States. Americans love their cash as well. So, yeah, keep your eye on Germany. I'll leave links down in the description to the article for that. I will go find that IMF article as well, talking about using e-currency to create the negative interest rates in the banking system. And I guess that would be it for this morning. Uneducated Economist. You guys let me know.